As a man, your porn addiction is hurting you and it's stunting your progression in life. What's up guys, it's Bengt. Welcome back to another video. In this one, we're discussing everything that you need to know about porn addiction, how it affects you mentally, physically, what triggers it, and how you can quit. So to start, let's go over some of the reasons why porn is even bad in the first place. So first of all, porn desensitizes you to actual sexual experiences. It can lead to performance issues, erectile dysfunction, premature ejaculation, false expectation of what sex actually is. And a lot of times it can lead you to feeling kind of disappointment when you actually have a real sexual encounter, because the trend with porn is that typically you end up developing these deeper, darker fantasies, and it kind of leaves you unsatisfied when you have a real world sexual encounter that's not as crazy stimulating and exciting as like the hyper scripted epitome of, male desire that is most porn videos. Another big danger with this is it conditions you to receive and associate sexual pleasure with pixels on your screen. So over time, your brain kind of starts to develop this connection between your device and you looking at a screen and sexual pleasure. And on top of that, you're also mentally signaling to yourself sexual pleasure is associated with you watching others perform sex and not actually perform sex yourself. So number two is it objectifies women as sex objects. And the more that you watch porn, the more obsessed you become with just sex itself and not actually on women as a whole. You stop seeing them as people and kind of start seeing them as pussies. To be fair, women sexualize themselves, and although we live in a hypersexualized culture where these kinds of promiscuous women are promoted and celebrated, it's encouraged, it's still not like a healthy way to approach sex, especially from a man's point of view. And the more that you condition yourself to think like that, the less success you're gonna have with women overall. So the third thing that porn does that's absolutely terrible for you and why it's destroying you, it wrecks your confidence. If you think about what porn is, you're watching other people have sex. Like, you are the cuck. You're the guy in the corner jerking off while two other people are having sex. And this kind of links back to the first point I made, where it's like you don't want to condition your brain to associate sexual pleasure with watching other people have sex. You want to be associating sexual pleasure with having it yourself, because that's what you ultimately want, right? Well, there are some people, I'm sure, but generally speaking, most people don't want to be cucks or like people that watch other people have sex. So think about what this does to your brain. This certainly can make you feel like you're less than or unworthy. What you're basically doing is like watching all these other guys bang like hot ass girls, and you think, wow, this guy's getting all the pussy in the world and I'm not. I should feel bad about myself. So let's unpack that just a little bit further, because there's more to it. Another way that porn is ruining your self-confidence is through your subconscious mind. Now, your conscious mind is the one that's very aware of the present moment and everything that's happening around you, but your subconscious mind is a little bit more tricky. Your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between what it's seeing, what it's thinking, and what it's feeling from reality. This premise in general is kind of why porn and media is even exciting in the first place. Oftentimes we end up visualizing ourselves as the characters that are in that video, and we empathize with them. Impartially, we feel like we're experiencing what's actually happening in that film or that porn video. Now, in the case of porn, this can completely destroy a man's self-image, because let's say you binge watch a bunch of porn, your brain is all jacked up on dopamine, which we'll talk about later, and your subconscious mind thinks that you just slept with 10, 20, however many women. Your brain is signaling to you like, holy shit, we are the alpha specimen, we are the ultimate male, we just won at life, right? Look at us, we spread our seed, we accomplished the goal. Your brain's literally like, congratulations, you received an abundance of female attention, you spread your seed, and now those 10 women are gonna go make you dinner. And that's kind of slowly where that illusion starts to break away. Eventually, your mind realizes that you are not the alpha specimen that you were signaling to it that it thought it was. It kind of catches on to the fact that your real life contradicts the feelings and experiences it was thinking it had when you were watching porn. Needless to say, this kind of creates that negative downward spiral of emotions and lack of self-confidence, because you can't trick your brain and your subconscious forever. Eventually it realizes like, hey, we don't actually have 10 women that will suck us dry and do whatever we want, and we're actually just a loser that can't get their needs met, so we go on the phone and watch other people have sex instead. Eventually your brain comes to this realization, and your self-image and your confidence are no longer intact, and you probably feel like less of a man. Another reason why porn is hurting you is because it enforces a lack of discipline. So sex is the primal desire, right? Other than eating, drinking, and sleeping, sex is the one thing that really controls our lives. Therefore, controlling our sexual desires gives us more control over ourselves, and harnessing this desire is a huge step towards self-mastery and self-control. Alright, so the fifth reason why porn is absolutely destroying you is it is a complete and utter waste of time and energy. Think about the amount of hours that you have spent watching porn, doing absolutely nothing but sitting there with your dick in your hand. On top of that, you need to realize how precious your sexual energy is. And without going too far down the rabbit hole, just think about this, right? Why would our society consistently, continuously desensitize us to sex and normalize sexual and promiscuous behavior? We've got 12-year-olds twerking on TikTok saying that they want to be OnlyFans girls when they grow up. We've got drag queens in middle schools showing kids how to use dildos and butt plugs. There's a constant promotion of homosexuality and a demonization of toxic masculinity, especially in Hollywood and mainstream media. If you think about some popular shows and movies that have come out in recent years, there's guaranteed some sort of homosexual couple, whether it be two guys or two girls. Most likely, the men that are scripted in this show or movie are bumbling idiots that can't do anything, and women are the ones that save the day and rise to power and are the authority figures within these shows and movies. So I know we went a little deep there and you might be wondering where is it exactly that I'm going with this, but you need to understand that your sexuality and sexual energy is incredibly powerful, because right now the world that we're living in is some crazy concoction between Brave New World and 1984. So the last thing that I want to kind of touch on is the effect that it has on your brain and your body. Now, the two key things here are dopamine and testosterone. So dopamine is a neurotransmitter that your body produces, and your nervous system uses it to communicate and send messages between cells. Dopamine is essentially what allows you to feel pleasure. When something feels really good, it's because a lot of dopamine is getting sent into your brain. Dopamine pretty much acts as your brain's reward system. You do something good, you get dopamine. Something is boring, you don't get dopamine. And obviously your brain, which is hardwired to reproduce, sees sex as a good thing. And like we said before, sex is a primal desire. Naturally, we want to spread our genetic legacy, so our brain encourages us to have as much sex as possible. Now, obviously, if you're capable of putting two and two together, you can see how when it comes to the case of porn, this is extremely damaging, because the amount of dopamine that's getting released when you're watching these sexual acts can be extremely habit forming. As human beings, we naturally pursue the path of least resistance to pleasure, and porn is an extremely easy way for our brains to satisfy our sexual desires and access high levels of dopamine. Porn can essentially be considered a drug addiction, and on a chemical level, that's pretty much true. And now most of us hopefully know that drug addictions are bad, and if you've ever seen or known a drug addict, most of their lives is spent pursuing their addiction, and it's very rare that they're ever able to manage to accomplish something significant, to hold meaningful relationships, and for the most part their lives are just strictly driven by chaos and the pursuit of this next fix. Now enter testosterone. Testosterone is the male hormone that is associated with sexual functions, muscle building, and believe it or not, it is extremely important to men's physical and mental health as well. Proper testosterone levels in men encourage competition and the drive for achievement, and it basically makes working feel good, or more specifically, it makes the effort and the doing of hard things that push us closer to our goals feel more rewarding. An example of this could be lifting heavy weights at the gym, working on your business, striving to achieve some other form of financial success, or reading a book and educating yourself to become smarter. Financial and career success, a strong and healthy physique, and being intelligent and educated are all signs and symbolic of the ideal male mate who is capable of provision and protection, two things that make us the most desirable as men. So here we are acting on our primal desires again, and testosterone is the driving force behind that. Your body uses it as a tool to drive you to be the best version of yourself so that you can compete in the sexual marketplace. So now let's link that back to porn, because when you ejaculate, your testosterone levels significantly decrease. Also, chemicals like oxytocin are released, and essentially it makes you feel tired, makes you want to cuddle, makes you want to lay down, take it easy. Obviously that is suboptimal if you are someone that is trying to get shit done. It's obviously also not optimal if these releases are being triggered by yourself and at a frequency that is unnatural, i.e. every single day, multiple times a day, multiple times a week. You know what I'm talking about. your body physically cannot produce enough testosterone that quickly to make up for the amount that you are releasing. Basically, you're going to be living in this perpetual state of brain fog, laziness, and just being unmotivated. Testosterone is so key in your development as a man, and wasting it on a tissue is certainly not going to help you get the results that you want out of life. So to wrap this all up, obviously porn is hurting you. It has practically been weaponized, and it poses a massive threat, and it stands between you and becoming the man that you want to be. So I guess the next natural question is, how do we fix it? Hey guys, so I'm recording this after the fact. I realized that this video was getting a little bit lengthy, so I decided to separate it into 2 parts. This is part 1 about why porn is damaging to you, and part 2 is all about what steps you can take to overcome your porn addiction. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it this far in the video, you're a real one. I appreciate you. Make sure you like and subscribe. Also, I've got some really awesome resources for you guys linked in the description. Be sure to check those out as well. And if you want, I will make sure that part 2 goes right here. And you guys can check that out because I'm going to upload these videos at the same time. So yeah, hope you guys thought this was helpful. Make sure to check out part 2 right here, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.